So my husband and I have been craving for egusi soup for some months now. And the last egusi soup we had finished like 4 months ago. I had this my friend and my sister that traveled back to Nigeria. So I asked my co-wife to please help me and give her some of the food stuff to get back to me. We traveled up to 45 miles to go and get it from her place. And then the next day when I came back from work, I had to prepare this delicious, sumptuous egusi soup. Guys, join me in my kitchen as I prepare this delicious egusi soup. Yeah, firstly, this is the okporoko that came all the way from Nigeria, all the way from Lagos. So I've added hot water to it so that I'll wash off the dirt on the okporoko first before I will start cooking it. So remember, I have to be using this thing in small quantity so that it will not finish on time. So I just have to, share the okporoko into two so that I will use it 2 times to cook the meal I would need it to cook. And then now I've washed it inside this pot. Wash me as I cook it. So firstly, this is how I'm cooking my egusi soup. This is not ideally how you must cook yours. Everybody have their own method. So this is ideally my method. So firstly, I washed this stocked fish with the hot water, wash away the dirt, and then put it inside this pot. I added some Maggi cube and then some salt, and then I started cooking. I'm showing you the ingredients I'm using for this soup, which includes the crayfish, the Maggi, the chicken, the pepper. This thing I'm turning here is the ogiri obe, it's a native something. And then that's the pepper I'm using, that's the salt, and that's the red oil behind. That's what I'm using. And then here now I'll be showing you the pepper and the egwusi, the quantity of egwusi I'm using to cook this soup. And this is the baby girl in the kitchen, yeah. So let's get into it. So my husband added me a dry onubu leaf. This is a dry onubu leaf. So I'm trying to wash this onubu leaf here. Then after washing it, I had to sieve it out first. After washing the onubu, I sieved it out. And then I'm using my hand to make sure there is no sand getting into this. So I'm trying to do it carefully so that the sand will not go into the onubu. Yeah, so I've set this pot on fire so that I'll start cooking the onubu. Remember, this onubu is a dry one. So I want it soft. What I did first was to add some hot water on it before I started cooking it. Yeah, remember our stockfish is already on fire, and then I'm also setting the onubu on fire. It's time to check on this baby that is already cooking. So that's my stockfish. I'm trying to turn it to the other side so that the ingredient I put will at least touch both the front and the back side. The only ingredient I've used in cooking this stockfish is just the Maggi cube and salt. Now you'll see the stockfish, the water is already being dried. The stockfish is already draining the water. So I'm adding some more extra water here. The water that will be enough for me to cook the egusi. After adding the water, I started putting my chicken. Firstly, I didn't want to cook the chicken together with the stockfish because the stockfish took a little bit of time before it was done. So after adding more water, I added some red oil and then allowed it to boil before adding this egusi. This is the egusi I'm putting on top of this thing. So this egusi, after putting it, I didn't start turning it immediately. I left it to for the thing to absorb, for the egusi to absorb the water itself before I start turning it. So after doing it like this, I closed it for some time before doing something else on it. So about the chicken, I was supposed to put it together with the stockfish, but no, I don't want it to get soft early. I don't want it to get too much soft. So I allowed the stockfish to cook first before I added the chicken. So at this point now, I'm trying to turn the egusi so that at least the water it won't be floating on the water. The water will be floating on the egusi itself and not the egusi floating on the water, you understand? Yeah, I allowed it to cook, and then my onubu is still cooking on the other side. Guys, you can't wait to see the outcome of this soup. So yeah, after covering the pot, I came back to check on it again, and then at this point I was loving the look. The thing now so go the poto and the poto is giving. So I'm trying to turn it here and then ready to add some ingredients. What did I add first? I first of all started with adding some bits of water because I saw the thing was getting more thicker than I don't want it to be at this point because it's not yet done. So I added some more water to make it more easy for me to turn, and then I started adding my ingredient. This is the crayfish I'm putting here now. After adding the crayfish, I turned it, and then I started putting every other thing that follows. This one is the ogiri obe. This is a local something, yeah? And then after putting the ogiri obe, I think I added the pepper. And after adding the fresh pepper, I had to turn it, so that at least these things I've added would also enter into every part of this egusi that I'm cooking. I turn this egusi saute if na me where they turn like this. How you gonna egusi by now? So I have to add this dry pepper also. I like the aroma of this pepper somehow. And then look at the egusi now. The thing is giving. I also added some more cubes of Maggi. I added 2 cubes of Maggi actually. So remember, the cube of Maggi I used first was for the stockfish, and then the taste is still in there, but then the taste of the egusi have already absorbed a majority of the taste, and then I added chicken. So I put in more more Maggi cube and more salt so that at least the taste will come out to be. So at this point, I've carried the enubu out of the stove, and then I'm trying to wash it off. Remember, I made sure I had to cook the bitterness of this onubu out before adding it to this pot of soup, so that the bitterness of the onubu will not go and spoil the taste of the soup. You understand? Yeah. So here I'm trying to start adding the onubu inside this egwusi that is already cooking. Yeah, I added everything and then I started turning it again. So I had to cook the enubu with the egwusi and everything. At this point, I've finished adding everything that I needed to add into this thing. I saw that the thing was still getting more thicker and thicker and thicker than it was expected to be. So I had to add more water because I know I'm still going to cook this thing for some time again before I bring it down from the pot, you know. And the more you cook it, the more it gets thick. Yeah, so I've finished putting everything and then I had to cover it so that all the ingredients will cook very well and the thing will get done. Oh yeah, come, let's check what we've been cooking to see how far it is. Look at the soup now. See the thing as it's sewing poto poto. The ofe, you know how that song they used to say, on our poto poto no ofe. This is the ofe sewing the poto poto. Do you understand? So guys, at this point, the egwusi is already giving. It is already egwusi, and myself that is even doing the cooking, I was already salivating. Yeah, I turned it and turned it and turned it, and then I still allowed it to cook for some time, and then it was done. I brought it down. Guys, come and see the look of our delicious egwusi. Ask me to rate this egwusi and I will rate it 100/100 minus nothing. Do you understand? Guys, look at the egwusi now. Look at how the egwusi is coming out to be. It was looking very, very delicious. So now it's time to serve the meal. I came back again, opened it, and then I need to serve it on a plate, and then it's time to eat. Do you understand? So yeah, that was me serving the egwusi inside this plate, guys. The egwusi na emenaya in water. I don't know if you're a lover of egwusi, but I mean, if you are seeing this video and you've watched to this end, I want you to rate this egwusi soup under the comment section. You know, tell me what you think about it. Is this how you cook your own egwusi? Tell me how you do your own cooking. You know, we learn every day. I know there are some things I've done here that is not the way I'm supposed to do it, but this is my own method of cooking and it comes out really, really very tasty. Tell me how you do your own cooking and tell me what you think I've not done well, the right way I'm supposed to do it. Guys, now let's hear the egwusi now. Rate this egwusi in the comment section. Yeah, you know, remember I've rated my own. I said it's giving 100/100 minus nothing. Tell me what you think, guys. Bye.